Since 1866, we've gathered in the spirit of love and justice. And in the ringing of the bells are the echoes of our ancestors who faced days similar and different than our own, who began their services with the tolling of bells downtown. And so, too, we begin in song. Welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Church of Rochester. We strive to be a congregation, of love and justice, rooted in many sources of wisdom and many spiritual paths. Believers in God, mystery, nature, love, queer and trans folks, immigrants and refugees, all of who we are and who we are becoming are held here as sacred. Before, during, or after the service, you can visit the altars on either side to light a candle for joy or sorrow, or write a prayer that will be collected after service. There's a preschool playroom open for young ones just past the lobby, and activities for kids following the Time for All Ages. All are welcome. After service, join us down in the Commons for refreshments and conversation. Every Wednesday, join us for supper at 5:30, followed by choir and various table conversations and activities for all ages, including childcare. Next week is our annual MLK service, and Monday you can join others from our church and the community downtown for a march at 10:30. We'll have some yellow UU gear available in the lobby next week as well. We hope you can join us. And a quick note, on the back of your order of service are a few different events, but the Clara Barton Guild topic for tomorrow will be postponed. The presentation on mortality will be scheduled later for March, but we'll still meet for their regular meeting. You can see Linda Thompson for more information. And you can join a Monday night conversation about Emerson and nature with Derek Robertson at 6 o'clock to 7:30 here in the Hearth Room. Each week our offering goes out our doors to support our values in the community. This month is for the Immigration Justice Fund, needed now as much and more than ever. You can give as a Plates Pass or anytime online. Thank you for your generosity for this work. And finally, a special thank you to our featured musicians today, an in-house ensemble of gifted musicians who have offered their gifts of music over many years here at First UU Church. We're grateful to have you all here offering your beauty today. We need it. So I invite you to take a breath as we enter our time of worship with these words from a minister in the 1870s, the Reverend Eliza Tupper Wilkes. He said, "May our faith in humanity and our message of hope and good cheer light our way." It's good to be together. Just a moment, the opening hymn will call us back, but before that, I invite you to rise in body or spirit and greet those around you.
Today's chalice lighting includes excerpts from A House Called Tomorrow by Alberto Rios. You are not 15 or 12 or 17. You are 100 wild centuries. And 15, bringing with you in every breath and in every step everyone who has come before you. All the yous that you have been, the mothers of your mother, the fathers of your father. If someone in your family tree was in trouble, 100 were not. The bad do not win, not finally, no matter how loud they are. We simply would not be here if that were so. From those centuries, we human beings bring with us the simple solutions in songs, the river bridges and star charts and song harmonies. Look back only for as long as you must, then go forward into the history that you will make. Be good, then better. Write books, cure disease, make us proud, make yourselves proud. And those who came before you, when you hear thunder, hear it as their applause.
On a day like today, after a week like this week, and a year like this year, we may be finding it difficult to focus. I would like to invite you to join me in this grounding meditation. So, free your hands, find a relaxed, comfortable position. Keeping your back upright but not stiff, allow your hands to rest where they are comfortable. On your legs, in your lap, over your heart. Allow your eyes to gently close if it feels comfortable, or allow them to be open with a relaxed, soft gaze. Invite your attention to really become internally aware. Feel your body. Notice your body from the inside and invite a sense of relaxation and maybe a bit of curiosity and interest. Notice different qualities of your body. It is solid. There are connecting points. The connection points between your body and the chair, your feet and the floor, your hands resting on your legs or in your lap, the connection of joints and muscles and tendons. You may even notice the felt sense of gravity, that gentle pull to the ground. And as much as you can, hold all of this with a sense of ease and relaxation. Now invite your attention to tune into the natural flow of your breath and see if you can notice the felt sense of your breath wherever it is felt most easily and naturally. It might be your belly. It might be your chest. Or it might be noticing your breath in your nostrils. Allow your breath to be natural, not controlling, nothing you need to do. You're turning into the rhythm of the in and out breath, moment to moment. Now, you may notice at times your attention will wander. It drifts away from your breath and your body, and it might get caught in thinking or planning or worrying. This is normal. Your attention will drift, and at some point you'll notice that. And this is when you get to practice kindness and patience with yourself. Reconnect your attention with your breath and your body. No need to yank it back. Just hold it with a real sense of gentleness and patience, remembering there is nowhere to go. Now let's end by taking a few moments to appreciate that you've taken this time to intentionally become embodied, creating a pause and a break from the constant doing and returning to a sense of being with your body and breath. And remember, you can practice this throughout your day, your week, and your life. Please consider this your invitation to be present in this morning, even if just for the next 45 minutes. Be here with us now. As Connie plays the children's benediction, I invite children up through middle school to meet me to head on downstairs.
Think, think, think. A quote from a favorite childhood bear, Winnie the Pooh. And exactly how I felt preparing this reflection. I even threw up my hands to grab my head, squint my eyes, and scrunch up my nose. Just like that little bear who always manages to be completely unburdened by life's experiences, even the ones that leave him stuck in an anxious friend's doorway. It has not been an easy week to reflect on staying grounded as the world whips around me like an angry tornado. As humans, we are not just full of fluff and stuff with simple bare problems like which friend is going to feed me copious amounts of honey for lunch, or how am I going to fool these bees today? But instead, we are full of thoughts, emotions, judgments, empathy, hatred, entitlement, anger, obligations, often burdened by life's heaviness, trying to balance work, kids, parents, relationships, chores, to-do list, moral responsibilities, all while trying to stand up for what's right, processing the latest crazy thing that actually just happened here in our home state, our beloved Minnesota. So how do we channel our inner Pooh Bear and simplify life, find the joy in the face of challenges, resist the urge to be consumed by the heaviness of the state of the world we live in right now, and even thrive, embracing playfulness in the everyday while also keeping our chin up and continuing to do the work that feels more important now than ever? I've been practicing yoga for close to 15 years now, a practice that for me is part of my spirituality, my self-care, my self-realization, and my liberation from life's burdens, a practice that helps me build resilience, a practice that is always evolving and growing with every new truth I expose and skill I add to my toolbox, a practice that I know has contributed to the person I am today, the person I am proud to be. But the truth is, I haven't felt super grounded or resilient lately. Most days I'm resisting the urge to throw in the towel on giving a shit anymore, feeling conquered and beat down by the hostility of the current environment, ready to just turn it all off, shut it all out, turn off the news, turn off my phone, turn off the connection. Have I lost my resilience? Right now, my head feels noisy and emotional, heavy like a bowling ball ready to roll off my neck and land on my toe if I'm not careful. Or worse, somebody else's. I'm living each day fighting because flight is just not an acceptable option right now. If I run away and hide from it all, who's going to finish the to-do list? Make sure the kids have dry snow pants, put the first aid kit back in its home, volunteer in the school lunchroom, feed the dog, wash the favorite Stitch onesie, set the reminders, make sure the reading homework gets done, laugh at their silly jokes, teach them the life's lessons, work through their simple Pooh Bear-like problems with them. I know there isn't a one-size-fits-all when it comes to getting grounded, self-care, spirituality, and finding the path to liberation from life's burdens. But there is one thing I know to be true, at least for myself, and it's something that doesn't involve thinking. And that is, something beautiful happens when you allow yourself a moment to tune out all that outside noise. Not completely shut it off, but turn it down and turn inward, even for a brief period in time. Perhaps to just notice the noises going on around you, not trying to control or stop them, but letting them wash over you. Something beautiful happens when you slow down the breath and allow the nervous system to slowly start to reset itself. Your heart rate improves, your thoughts become less intrusive and more organized. You become more creative, more intentional, more full of love, more resilient. Something beautiful happens the more I practice the thing that nurtures my soul. The faster I find my calm when I seek it out, even if I can't feel it every moment of every day. My life may never be simplified to that of a stuffed bear, and I haven't lost my resilience. The world has just become louder, messier, more in need. So I will continue to practice and inspire calm, even when I don't feel as grounded as I would like, when the outcomes don't always match the effort spent. For some, a daily practice may be yoga and meditation, or perhaps it's writing, knitting, biking, singing, gardening, Zen doodles, eating an entire pot of honey with ferocious intention, or falling asleep listening to the audiobook of The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Whatever it is, remind yourself that it's just a practice and it probably won't ever be perfect, and that's okay. Take that moment for yourself. You deserve it, and watch something beautiful happen.
In gratitude, we'll receive today's offering. invite you to take a deep breath. Breathe deep the breath of life. Feel below you the earth and its ancient turning. Above you the sky, and beyond that the stars shining with their ancient light, holding you in this moment, this breath. You yourself made of earth and stars. Invite you into this time of meditation, this time of prayer, first by sharing silence together. Spirit of life, source of love, God and Gaia of 1,000 names and beyond all naming. The overwhelm and swirl of emotions can shift as quick as the news updates and information. The questions, the sorrow, the anger. As we mourn the death of Renee Good in Minneapolis, and we grieve the systems of oppression and militarized state violence, not bringing safety, but fear, intimidation, and hatred. Ground us in the words and deeds of those who have come before us. Like Olympia Brown, who said, "The concern of the Universalist is to work against the realities that allow such things to exist in the first place." Or as a community leader shared this week, they may have violence and force, but we have something more lasting and beautiful in our art, in our mutual aid, in our solidarity. Or remind us of the moments of levity as protesters took their signs, sat on them, and slid down the hill in Powderhorn Park in Minneapolis. May our playfulness and resilience remind us of our joy and humanity in the midst of our work for justice. May the Spirit fortify us in our belief that we are only liberated together, and that the work of liberation is a testament to our belief that each soul is worthy of dignity, love, and home, and that we, in small and large ways, can create the conditions of heaven here and now. Hold in our hearts all those who suffer in mind, body, or spirit. I invite you to bring the names of the people and places you're holding in your heart this day in joy or sorrow, and silently or aloud now in this time to speak their names. For the names spoken and unspoken, may we be held in love. And it is with deep sadness that we shared this week that longtime member Ronice Donovan died unexpectedly on Monday. Ronice was a gracious, joyful, and grounding presence in our church for decades, since before I was born. A Montessori teacher, an advocate for folks with disabilities, and a heart seemingly the size of universalism. Celebration of Life will be held on Saturday, January 24th at 1 p.m. Hold her husband Gary and daughters Moira and Ira, who are carrying on in a hearty Donovan way with care and love for each other. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we will remember her. The words of meditation that I want to share with you today are from a community leader who taught me this song, reminding us that our suffering and our beauty is connected, that our work for a different world and community begins in art and dreaming and song. And so for this meditation, you're welcome, as you're comfortable, to kind of have a heartbeat rhythm, whether you put it on your heart or your lap or your hand, or just feel it a little bit. You don't have to sing with me, but can just keep a beat that's comfortable for you. When the world is sick, can't no one be well? But I dreamt we were all beautiful and strong. When the world is sick, can't no one be well? But I dreamt we were all beautiful and strong. When the world is sick, can no one be well? But I dreamt we were all beautiful and strong. Will you hum it with me? When the world is sick, can't no one be well? But I dreamt we were all beautiful and strong. Once more. When the world is sick, can't no one be well? But I dreamt we were all beautiful and strong. May that be so. Amen. The hymn is There's More Love Somewhere, drawing on the songs of our ancestors in the struggle of liberation. I invite you to rise and body your spirit as we sing.
Excerpts from Advice to Myself number 2, Resistance by Louise Erdrich. Resist the thought that you may need a savior or another special being to walk beside you. Resist the thought that you are alone. Resist your disappearance into sentimental monikers, into the violent pattern of corporate logos, into the mouth of the unholy flower of consumerism. Resist being consumed. Resist all funding sources, but accept all money. Cut the strings and dismantle the web that needing the money throws over you. Resist the distractions of excess. Wear old clothes and avoid chain restaurants. If you exist, then you are loved by existence. What do you need? A spoon, a blanket, a bowl, a book? Maybe the book you give away. Resist the need to worry, robbing everything of immediacy and peace. Resist traveling, except where you want to go. Resist outrageous charts spelling doom. However you can, rely on sun and wind. Resist loss of the miraculous by lowering your standards for what constitutes a miracle. It is all a miracle. Resist your own gift's power to tear you away from the simplicity of tears. Resist the blue chair of dreams, the red chair of science, the black chair of the humanities, and just be human. Resist all chairs. Be the one sitting on the ground or perching on the beam overhead or sleeping beneath the podium. Resist disappearing from the stage, unless you can go straight into the bathroom, and resume the face, that desolate face, the radiant face, the weary face, the face that has become your own, though all your life you have resisted it.
Just want to offer a breath of gratitude for your music this morning. Thank you. So I said, well, I think that's it. I'm good. Want to try again, Luke? The teacher said. Nope, thanks. And so I unstrapped the buckles off of my rollerblades, and I got back up after falling immediately into a sitting position on the concrete and quickly giving up with confidence to my 8th grade PE teacher, rollerblading for the day, deepening my lifelong commitment to never having anything slippy on my feet again. I had tried a few other times later, the cross-country skiing incident that ended in a broken pole, or the downhill skiing school trip atop Mount Cato after falling on the bunny hill, trying to get some balance there unsuccessfully, and then quickly trudging safely into the chalet for the rest of the day. Or there was the time using the PVC pipe walker on the ice with ice skates while my kids glided happily around me, and I almost broke the pipes holding them with such severity and fear. Not to mention heights and ladders while working a maintenance job. My boss knew the ladder was not Luke's friend. Anything that separated my feet from the ground, not interested. This is not a proud litany for me to share. But last week, Dan said vulnerability was a good thing for community, so here we are. I'm afraid of falling over, I'm afraid of heights, or probably my soul being firmly planted on the ground. If I'm more honest, I probably am afraid of looking unsteady, but that's a whole nother topic. I've never broken a bone. Maybe a mix of genetics and luck, but a good amount of well-honed, top-notch risk aversion for years. So recently, while all I had to do was chaperone these 5th graders and let the professionals lead and help them guide what they were going to be doing on high ropes, on the ropes course, all I had to do was shepherd water bottles and help tighten belts. I was still slightly terrified just being in proximity to the ropes and a bunch of children going up on this guided ropes course at Eagle Bluff Nature Center. But the instructor shared a simple risk guide that has stayed with me. She said, imagine a circle right around you. That's your comfort zone. Now imagine a circle just beyond that. That's your challenge zone. And then a circle just beyond that. That's your panic zone. Don't go there, she said. But I do want you, if you're a little nervous, to go into that challenge zone, because you're not alone. I want you to be in your challenge zone, she said. Not asking you to go into your panic zone, that's different for each of us. And then they moved through all the skills and all the safety measures and the harnesses and the clips, the low ropes line and then the fake rope line before moving up into the high ropes, depending on each other and depending on well-worn skills and wisdom from folks who literally knew the ropes for guidance. It's an important image. And beyond the physical challenge in that space, it's a good map and guide for the soul generally. A life of the Spirit is not meant to be a life of comfort, to be comfortable. Spirituality at its best challenges us, and we're supposed to be moving through these zones all the time. A life of the Spirit is one where we draw on the wisdom from those around us and trust we can move into some challenging spaces, from comfort to challenge, but not necessarily to panic, or at least very rarely. Though for some of us sometimes, maybe we need a little kick in the shins from the Spirit or from each other to get us moving or to shake us awake or to pay attention to something important that requires the necessity of our attention. Most of the time, comfort, challenge, panic zone is a map, a guide, a regiment to help ground our souls when we're not sure what else to do, especially in harrowing days like these. To ask the question of what and why and how, as in how to respond to a militarized federal invasion of Minneapolis ending in the death of someone's beloved, where there is, from the vantage point of ethics at least, a clear aggressor, ICE, that I can't name as anything other than evil. It's been reported that there are more federal agents in Minneapolis than the combined forces of the Minneapolis and St. Paul police departments. How do you know what to do, where to go, how to focus your energy, your resources, to be in solidarity, in community, to stay informed but not overwhelmed, to know your capacity and your limits, to know your comfort, challenge, and panic zones for the soul? What does the heartbreaking invitation challenge us to respond with? How does love challenge us to resist violence and hatred and systems of oppression wreaking havoc and fear? On this week, right before we honor the legacy of Dr. King, in the face of so much police brutality from the state. It's a constant reminder in spiritual communities that for generations, we root ourselves, ground ourselves in community, including community that reminds us our souls need nourishment for this work. Almost every movement for massive social betterment has strong roots in deep spiritual or soul practices, in chants and songs, in food and sharing, in community, for mind, body, and soul. Even this week, as people gathered in vigil in Minneapolis, people brought food. Someone went around pouring tea there at the intersection, itself a spiritual practice in many traditions. Some of the most soul-nourishing responses that I've heard in recent weeks, not just in this past week, is from the trainer of Legal Observers. The trainer said, first, this activist wanting people to get out and be active, said, first, you check in with your soul and only do what you are ready and prepared to do. Check in with your soul first was their first advice. To know that it takes intentional practice and it takes good, wise training to keep oneself and those around you safe. Today's meditation from Amy or the reflection from Natalie remind us that practice keeps us grounded not in perfection, but returning to places where you take a breath a little bit from the intensity of the world. When the forces of fear want us to be toppled by the winds of hate, how do we find our grounding? A dear friend said, folks, there's not one way to do this. She said, maybe you're like the barista in South Minneapolis who only serves the officers decaf no matter what they order. Or maybe you're helping connect people with legal services. Or maybe you're offering to help a family with childcare, or you're offering transportation, or you're offering food. She said there's 1,000 ways to be in the work of liberation, and we all take shifts and find our lane. She said, find yours and work in your zone, whatever it is. The poet says, resist the thought that you're alone. Resist your disappearance into the violent pattern of corporate logos. Resist being consumed. Resist the distractions of excess. What do you need? She writes, a spoon, a blanket, a bowl, a book. However you can, she says, rely on sun and wind. Resist loss of the miraculous by lowering your standards for what constitutes a miracle. She said, it's all an effing miracle. Be the one sitting on the ground, perching on the beam, sleeping beneath the podium. Be the one, she says, on the ground, the beam, under the podium. Sometimes I take that invitation, be where you need to be, for yourself and for others. We need people everywhere, in every capacity, front lines, back channels, with a megaphone or quiet consolation, holding us, holding each other in all the ways. In the work of resistance, which is our theme this month, there's an invitation to resist the patterns of thought that convince us that we are powerless, that tell us we are alone, to resist practices that perpetuate isolation of thoughts and resources. It's like resistance training when healing from an injury or regaining lost skills or yoga stretching or anything that takes regular practice. You have to find the right balance of pushing where you can push beyond the comfortable, but not too far into danger for body or soul. Resistance of anything at its core is finding the right tension, like on a rope line or in muscle memory. You likely know this in different ways in your own life. You can draw on the wisdom in your own body, even like the experience of entering maybe really cold or really hot water, where you have to just take it easy at first, find the right pace, and adjust to the climate. Or with a rigid or stiff muscle injury. I remember when my physical therapist brother reminded me when I was having some major back issues, you have to stretch just past comfort. He said, not too far, but just past comfort, hold it there a bit, take a break, but then keep going further. It's the only way you can go, a little bit at a time, till you're able to get somewhere you couldn't before. Recently, I caught a bit of a story with some mental health professionals speaking about the importance of self-care and communal care and how integrated they are. That care for oneself and one's community are interconnected. We have a history in our Western, especially American culture, of rugged individualism. And as a reminder, it's the lie that we are self-sufficient in any way, which is absolute hogwash. And unfortunately, our own tradition has played a part in that. Ralph Waldo Emerson, for once, which you could maybe get into tomorrow night, for one, that you can learn about with Derek, was to emphasize self-resilience and self-reliance, which can be, if nuanced correctly, great. But in a good pendulum swing one way or the other, it was away from conformity, but then over time swung into too much individualism, that we are self-sufficient, self-reliant. Sometimes our own religious tradition has swung way too hard that way, and we've been trying to work it back. So back to the radio show I was listening to, one of the psychologists talked about the rightful need to focus on self-care. And in recent years, there's been a generally good refocus on that. The dangers of compassion fatigue by caregivers, the importance of rooting yourself in good practices of care. The idea that we give so much, we're often socialized, especially certain identities, to give and give to the point of depletion. That is something that needed correction. And she cautioned. She said, sometimes, though, some of us need a kick in the shins, too. She said, we shouldn't take self-care so far to the point that we avoid helping others at all. There has to be a balance. Care for oneself and the community are interconnected. How are you finding the right tension? The right push and pull? The right soul stretch out of comfort into challenge, but not too far? To know care for oneself and others is all connected and cyclical. Right now, there's a classroom where the check-in question for the kids is, how are you going to make the world better today? And then there are options, because it's helpful for children. Service, compassion, community building, a few clear options. Right now, in your weekly e-news, if you get it from the church, there's a literal social justice checklist. If you're wondering what to do for justice in the world, we gave you a checklist. Here are things you can literally do. Some of them online, some of them in person, a variety of things. We'll have them out next week for MLK Sunday as well. There's no perfect or one right path. And infused in all of these options is the reminder that we need to stay connected with each other. The intensity of this time, and sometimes the point of this intimidation, is to isolate people, to separate people, to make people guard themselves from being out at all. Community is a balm to our resilience and helps us practice solidarity in real ways if you find communities that are sacredly holding your worth. How are you finding your lane, your zone, your voice, whatever it might be? As the old hymn says, tyrants tremble when they hear that our song can't be silenced. Even when the breath is knocked out of us, we take our signs and yell into a megaphone and then slide down the hill in joy, because community is about all of it, the struggle, the sorrow, the pain, the joy, the play. That song still echoes from our shared voices in streets and in detention centers. When tyrants try to silence us, we must not keep from singing. So let us sing our closing hymn together. I invite you to rise in body or spirit, for my life flows on. I invite you, as you're comfortable, to place a hand on your heart or toward the sky or earth in gratitude and breathe deep the breath of life. Our words from another ancestor. Go yonder, and gather the people. Give them not hell, but courage and hope. Give them something of the love you have found here, and tell all the people that love is our home. Amen.